everybody, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to take a look at Pinball Wizard by The Who. Now this was on their album Tommy and released in like 1969 or something like that. Anyway, it's got a lot of really good acoustic strumming in it. Very popular, you know, everybody pretty much knows it. So thought it'd be a good one to do. Now this does have a lot of electric guitar kind of overdubs done with it. But pretty much this entire lesson we're going to do it all on acoustic because they're either doubling each other pretty much, or the electric guitar overdubs just really are just kind of icing on the cake, you know. So we'll talk about them maybe a little bit, but for the most part, you can just grab an acoustic or play it on electric, doesn't really matter, and go for it. All right, so let's take a look at the intro here. We're going to start. We're in standard tuning. All right, so we're going to have this B minor chord here with your on the second fret on the first string, third fret on the second string, and then the fourth fret on the two middle strings. All right. So what you're gonna do first is strum across those four strings, and then come back down to the D string, the fourth string, and just constant eighth note rhythm. The next chord, just pick up your first finger so that first string is now open. Alright, the next chord, your first finger is now going to play the second fret on the B string there. So you picked up your second finger and it goes down to the second fret there. So everything else stays the same, including the rhythm down on the D string. The next chord, you're going to take your pinky up, that is on the third string, and put instead your second finger on the third fret on that string. So all together, we have Alright, now I'm going to pick up our first and second fingers and we're going to play the second fret on both the third string and the second string together. And you're going to have the high E string ring open. Alright, you can see how I'm fingering those two right there. The next chord, easy one. Pick up your first and second fingers. The only thing you leave now is the third finger still playing this F sharp note here on the fourth string. All the other strings are open. Still strumming the same strings though. Then move up one fret to the fifth fret now on the D string, and put your second finger down at the fourth fret on the G string, and you're going to strum across the D string, G string, and B string, so that B string is open. And then we're going to come down to our first. You're going to see this chord shape a lot in this lesson. This is going to be kind of a Hendrix way of playing the major chords. We have this is an F sharp major chord. Your thumb is going to come over the top of the neck and grab this low second fret here on the low E string. It's an F sharp. Then the octave of that with your third finger on the D string, the fourth fret. Second finger at the third fret on the G string, and then first finger at the second fret on the B string. Now that middle string is muted. The A string is left muted by either your thumb coming all the way over and just brushing against it, or your third finger muting it with the tip of your third finger. Whatever feels more comfortable, or use both just to make sure you get it deadened. All right. I actually use both. So, all right. So that whole intro, real quick. Now on that last chord there, I start with just still doing that strumming across those strings, just doing the 8th note rhythm, and then you start speeding it up and doing the 16th note rhythm. So instead of doing all downstrokes between them, also strike the strings on the way back up. Instead of going now. So he kind of starts mixing in some 16th notes to build the tension up to the big acoustic part coming up. So, and he kind of starts hitting it a little harder too. All right, so let's do the next part, which is the big acoustic part. What's going on there? Well, we had the same chord shape that we did earlier here. Now we're at the 7th fret. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it a suspended, this is a B chord by the way, B major chord. So we're going to make it a B sus4 for a second by putting your, keep everything the same. Keep all those fingers there, still muting that 5th string, but let your pinky now lay on the 9th fret there on that G string first. All right, just keep that there. You can keep both fingers on the string, it doesn't matter. And we're going to do the rhythm. And then you're going to release the pinky. So you can hear that. Okay, that's the melody in the chord. So what is the rhythm that he's doing there? Now the way to break this rhythm down is you want to think of it as this. Down, one big, because he's doing some accents in there. It's down, down, up, down, up. All right, so you want to do that first. So that first down is accented. And then the rest are kind of just a moderate volume. All right, you do that twice. And then you're going to end it with 2 big downstrokes, just an 8th note feel, accented. So all together. Then you change to that, you drop that finger on the 9th fret down to the 8th fret there. So you do that picking pattern each time on the chord. Then you take the exact same thing and move it down 2 frets. Now down 2 more frets to the 3rd fret. Down 1 fret to the 2nd fret. And this time when you resolve that pinky down to the 3rd fret here, from the 4th fret down to the 3rd fret, you just hit that once. You don't do the full rhythm on it, all right? So when it first comes into the song, he stays on this first chord for a while. Just going back and forth between the suspended and the regular B major chord. And you hear that on the electric guitar, which is basically just an octave sliding into from a half step down into the B notes, and then the same thing when it gets to the next chord into the A. So that's really it's going on for that electric part. Sounds cool, but you know the acoustic part is actually more interesting. All right, so but whenever he's singing, this part becomes a verse, and he does those chord changes, just the picking pattern one time on each chord. That's first chord, second chord, third, fourth, and so forth. All right. Then we have the next that sure plays a mean pin. So what's going on there? That's just a B major chord. I like to play you can just play it with your 3rd finger barred across the 4th fret on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, with your 1st finger here at the 2nd fret on the 5th string. I like to use my pinky. Then to the A major chord. But that's pretty much, you don't want that 2nd string in there, so just make it an A power chord. Then to a D major chord, to an E major chord. So it goes. So it's all downstrokes. You just gotta get the rhythm in your head. And then he does a little 16th note strumming activity, just down, up, ups, that we did earlier on that chord. So all together, you just repeat that riff twice. right, then he goes back to the main rhythm again. Now this time he doesn't do that he doesn't add the two ending big downstrokes. He just does that same. The first two was like down, 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 up. You know, this kind of, he doesn't accent the last two notes anymore. That's the only difference. And you'll also hear him slowly start. See how this first, you can let that first high E string ring now along with it. Still muting the fifth string, but you can get this effect now. Creates kind of a fuller sound, letting that ring. So for the, we're back here to this B strumming section. The second and third times you play that in the song, you can go and let that high E string ring with it. Sounds pretty cool. All right, so you do that again, and then it goes back to that sure plays the mean guitar part. Not guitar, pinball. I always used to think that said guitar when I was a kid, so that's why I always say that. All right, then we have the chorus, which goes. All right, now that is just an E to an F sharp major chord. To a B major chord that we did earlier. To a G major chord, to a D major chord. Just keep strumming it. Now there's a guitar fill, little guitar, electric guitar fill over that, but if you really want to just stick with playing the song as one guitar, you're gonna have to stick with that D. All right, then we have this little arpeggiated picking part, which sounds like this. What's going on there? So we have it starts with a D major chord, and we're gonna have a downstroke on the open. So you put your first finger on the second fret on the G string, third finger at the third fret on the B string. Pick the D string open, then with an upstroke hit both of those notes that you're fingering. Then with a downstroke hit the D again. Then come over and grab the third fret here on the A string. Downstroke with an upstroke on the G. Downstroke at the second fret now on the fifth string with an upstroke on the G, open G, and then open A string. Kind of holds on that D after it. So you basically do that picking pattern 3 times. It's got a weird timing to it, but you should be able to. All right, then we go back to that same B strumming part we did earlier. And then that. Back to the chorus. Okay, and then there's a little lead fill there too. Then we have a key change. We raise up, we rise up, minor third. And what we're doing here is the same thing we did here at the 7th fret, but all the way up here at the 10th fret now. And for this first chord, he actually does the bar across the first and second string, so you get that top high D note in there too. All right, so everything else is pretty much the same strumming pattern. everything's 3 notes higher now. So the chords are going to be at the 10th fret, then the 8th fret, 6th fret, and then the 5th fret. And only on this first chord do you have to have that high E note in there. By the way, he went back to those 2 accents at the end, so it's the same time as same way of playing it as the first time we played that, the time when it was in B. All right, so those are the basic frets, and then after the sure plays the mean pinball thing, different chords now. And it's just a D to C to an F chord here. You don't need to do a bar chord because you don't need to hit the first and second string. So it's just 1, 3, 3, 2. All right. Then we have a little outro here, which is depending on what version of the song you have, it kind of fades out pretty quick. Kind of hard to pick up what's going on. But for the most part, it's off of a B flat. So do a bar at the 1st fret here, 5th string all the way across. Pick that first, and then put your third finger here at the 3rd fret on the B string, and pick the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. Then the 4th finger at the 4th fret, and do the same picking pattern. So you pick this low note first, and then he does a hammer on here at the 4th string, hammering on from 1st to 3rd, and then you just play. You can kind of just do a little, which is just do the hammer, then pick the 3rd string, then down to the low 5th string, that root note, and then the 2nd string. All right, so all right, then let's let go of the full bar. Just bar across 3 frets now. We're going to go 3 on the B string, down to the 1, the 1st fret on the G string, then move over to the 3rd fret on the high E string, and then the 1 on the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. Then move that pinky up to the 4th fret. Pick across those 1st, 2nd, 3rd string. And here's where it really starts fading out. And it's just kind of a hammer on from 1 to 3 on the 2nd string. Come down to the 1st fret on the G string. Play 4, 3 on the 2nd. And then it just kind of dies out. So song is pretty much done at that point. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. It's got a lot of cool rhythms in it that you can practice. Some cool over the thumb work to work on if you're new to that. And well, it's a catchy little tune. All right. Please put your request in at Guitar Lessons 365 for another song you'd like to see, and I will get to work on it, man. Thanks a bunch. Bye.